today with a continuation of the attempted repair of the Trojan. Motor's come through. This is a little coreless brushed motor, the type that it uses, 10mm. So I'm going to replace the motor that's in there with a new one and see if it then functions nicely. I've removed the wing that was just held on with some little pieces of glue. That enables me to keep the aileron servo and aileron servo horns and arms in position. Here is the circuit board with the elevator and rudder servos and servo horns. Interestingly, that one's on the outer hole, that one's on the inner hole. So outer for the rudder, inner for the elevator on this Trojan. And the circuit board was glued in, but I made that loose the other day. This red and black lead is obviously to the power pack, and then the other leads, red and blue, are the leads that I need to unsolder and then put on the new motor leads, red and blue, so I can get this new motor in. There we are. Now I'm just going to unsolder the old motor very carefully. First of all, just tinning those, get them prepared. Now I should be able to stick them on the circuit board. Those are the two wires soldered on good and strong onto the new motor. Red and blue. This is the old motor and gearbox, so I'll take the prop off first and then need to get this gearbox off as that's still useful. So that is push fit. There you go. Push this one on. That's it, lined up nicely and engaged in the gear. Perfect. You can now slide into the fuselage like that. Motor wires are nice at the other end. I just need to pull that up a little. That is good. Fit that carefully into position into the fuselage. That's perfect. Right, and we are now almost ready to give that a run. Now the battery sits in there, and I don't want the battery fouling up or pushing on the wires too much. I'm actually going to use the battery to push that as much as it would if it was pushed right in. Transmitter on. Power the battery. And there is power to the servos. Bind it. Now see if it runs. Sounds nice so far. Put the prop on. Oh, it's got some power. So it was the motor. Motor replaced, plain. I can feel that power. That is great. Need to get it all together, glue it in, and check all of the control surfaces operate. Check we have power, and then it's ready for a flight. Now to put that connector back in, yellow to the rear, remember, I've used a screwdriver. I've lined it up and then I've used the screwdriver to get it in nicely. Now this wire needs to be tucked out of the way of the servo horns to the rudder and elevator. You don't want that fouling up on there. That's nice. And that is now ready to get glued in position. So I use a little bit of Yoo-hoo glue and I'll tack that. I also need to tack that circuit board as well, reposition that. I don't want too much glue in case we ever have to get inside again, but just enough obviously to hold it. And that servo wire is out of the way. Good. Very carefully. So a bit of glue and squidge that, wipe off any excess, and I will use that as it's a contact adhesive. I'll push that together properly in a minute. Squidge it in here, but then use the screwdriver and start pushing those other pieces together now. That's good. Contacted nicely. Get this round the right way, which is that way with the screw to the front. That is now glued in, ready to accept the battery. Click that down. Good. Don't have a front wheel for this, but that's what that screw is there for. It only holds a front wheel. The other thing I've done, I've put a little piece of foam behind the motor just to help stop it wobbling and support that motor mount a little more. And at the moment that's pretty good. So that should withstand a few more crashes. And then if it does go loose again, I'd suggest putting a cocktail stick all the way through the fuselage behind the motor just to really hold it if that does go loose again. But at the moment this is a less destructive way because I don't have to poke a hole through the side of the plane. Just a little bit of red touch-up paint, just stippling that in there just to tidy it up a little. So that is how the join turned out on the upper and lower fuselage sections. It's not as smooth as it was, but the best that you can do. I found that I got a similar standard repair on my sport car. Right, connected the transmitter, bind, now see if it thrusts, and it's got some pull to it. Rudder to the right, rudder to the left, aileron left up, aileron right up, and then elevator up and dive. Yes, that looks nice, ready for flight. It is a little windy, okay though to do a flight, see if it goes. I'm going to consider that a success. Plane now seems to fly again. So we consider that fixed.